Hey, this is Vu, and today I'm going to talk about supporting your teammates effectively and making plays for teammates that are near you. And the basis of this is really that you want to be trying to support your teammates a little bit more effectively, and it's fairly simple. However, really it's about a mentality shift a lot of the time when you're moving from matchmaking and pugs and playing just for yourself to playing more for the teammates around you. And it is about supporting. However, this is something that really every player should be able to do on both T and CT side to make your team as efficient as possible. This is very important when you're looking at teammates that you play with consistently, because you can know their play style and you can have shorthand to agree on things that you'll do in certain scenarios and nades and flashes you can throw. And it seems as simple as nades and flashes you can throw. However, there's a couple of reasons that you want to be able to think about what your teammate's doing and try and think about a more map focused idea of what plays can be made on my side of the map rather than what plays can I make and what plays can my teammates help me make. And the idea is that there's two things here. First, if you're playing a bomb site as the main player, you probably know some things that your rotating players don't know. You might know that your opponents play in a certain way when they execute the bomb site. You might know that at a certain timing they're weak, and rather than forcing your rotating player, for example, if someone comes from highway and moves to forklift, rather than forcing them to realize this timing and ask for a flash or a nade or a smoke, you can offer it yourself. So you're showing them that there's a play they can make that you are aware of and they might not be aware of. You're also minimizing the time between the play, and this is a really important one, especially when you're playing at higher levels against very competent opponents. When you're asking for a flash as the player at forklift here, it can be anywhere between maybe 1 to 3 seconds for your teammate to pull out a flash, line it up, ask if you're ready potentially, and then throw it. Whereas if that teammate simply lines it up and gets ready to throw it and says, I can flash you into A main, or I'm flashing you into A main, that time is minimized, and it can be the timing difference between finding players with their nades and flashes out, catching that timing where you get a kill, or your opponents are ready, their guns are out, and they're completely prepared to actually take you out. So the timing is important as well, and a lot of the time you can think about this in terms of rotating. When you're rotating into a bomb site, a lot of the time teams are going to have flashes prepared, or in general, a player might have flashes prepared that he'll often throw when he's rotating into a bomb site. When you're rotating into a bomb site, a good flash, for example, would be a deep flash behind the site here in B, because your teammate can peek out in front of it and try and find some kills, and it can help delay your opponents. You can also throw a flash that lands a little bit in front of the box as well. Now, the idea here is that if your teammate had to call for it, again, that's 2 to 3 seconds where you're lining it up. You might not even have a flash. Your teammate can't possibly know that a lot of the time if he's trying to fight off opponents, and your teammate isn't going to be able to call for it a lot of the time because he's being pressured heavily from all different sides, and he's not going to think to look at his radar to find out if a teammate is rotating in with that flash. So being able to do this type of thing where you're offering the flash to your teammates, you're calling it, you're throwing it without forcing your teammate to ask for it, can make a team significantly more efficient, much more able to deal with pushes in reasonable ways, and it really does change the way the game is played and make you a much better player. It's important to be able to do this in matchmaking and pugs as well. However, I mention this in competitive play because almost every less experienced competitive player I've played with in teams before has had problems with this. They very often just think about what they're doing and what their teammates can do for them, rather than trying to look around and see what plays can be made by anybody on their team around the map in their area. A good example of this, again, is towards middle here. If your teammate at white box is being pressured and he's gotten some contact and he knows they're pushing white box, you shouldn't have to wait for your teammate to ask for a flash if you know that this is something that he often wants. You can simply call that you're throwing a flash or say, I'm going to flash mid, and if he doesn't want it, he can say, no, don't throw it. Something as simple as that you can line up with a teammate that you've played with before that can make the difference between winning and losing rounds, and even winning and losing games. So thanks for watching, and I hope this helped.